In a world that's just overflowing with information, how do we teach students not just to know things, but to really, truly understand them? Well, today, we're going to dive into a pretty powerful framework from educator Adrienne Gear that aims to do exactly that. It's all about transforming how students think about themselves and the world around them. You know, Albert Einstein said this over a century ago, and wow, is it more relevant now than ever. That old model of education, the one focused on just memorizing facts, it simply doesn't prepare us for the world we live in today. We need a major shift in focus, away from just learning facts and towards training our minds to think critically and deeply about them.
All right, so here's the game plan for breaking this all down. We'll start with the big shift from basic learning to deep understanding. Then we'll unpack Adrienne Gear's awesome model for thinking. We'll look at its 3 phases to see how it works, and then see how it can totally transform the way students see themselves and the world.
Okay, first up, let's talk about why the old ways of teaching are kind of becoming obsolete. For years, that assign and assess model was the standard, right? Read this chapter, answer these questions. But let's be real, the world has fundamentally changed. I mean, think about it. You've got Google in your pocket, Siri on your speaker. Any fact is just a question away. So a teacher's job isn't really to be the main source of information anymore. Instead, the real challenge is teaching students what to do with all that information, how to question it, how to make sense of it, and how to build real meaning from it. In this slide, it really breaks down that shift perfectly. We're moving away from just learning, which a lot of the time is just memorizing something so you can repeat it back, and we're moving toward understanding. This is all about exploring ideas and doing what Adrienne Gear calls inferential rethinking. It's the difference between being able to label the parts of a frog and actually wondering, how does that frog survive the winter under a frozen lake? See the difference?
So how do we actually make this happen in a classroom? Well, that brings us right to Adrienne Gear's solution, a really concrete model designed to help build this deeper, more powerful way of thinking.
And here it is. This is where the model we're talking about today comes from. Powerful understanding gives us a visual framework, a common language that helps make this abstract process of deep thinking, visible and tangible for students. It basically gives them a map for their own learning journey. The real power of this model, lies in its simplicity. It takes this super complex process of developing understanding and breaks it down into 3 distinct, really intuitive phases. So the first phase is explore. This is the moment. It's the what phase, where students are just gathering new information and facts. Next up is interact, which is the moment. And this isn't about being confused, it's about being curious. This is the so what part, where they connect with and question the information. And finally, you get to the develop phase, the big aha moment. This is the now what, where their thinking really transforms and they create a new, bigger understanding they didn't even have before. Okay, so where can we actually apply this model? Well, one of the most critical areas in education today is social-emotional learning, or SEL. Gears shows us how this thinking framework can help students develop a much deeper understanding of themselves, their friends, and even the global community. And to do this, the model uses 3 really powerful lenses. Mirror diversity is all about looking inward to understand yourself, your identity, your culture, your feelings. Then you have window diversity, which is about looking outward to understand and have empathy for other people. And finally, satellite diversity is about zooming way out to get a broader perspective on our role in the whole world. So let's just focus on that first lens for a second, using this model to understand the self. This is where students really start to explore all the different pieces that make up their own unique identity. Everything from their family and cultural background to their own personal hopes and fears. And this isn't just abstract theory. I mean, take a look at these incredible examples of actual student work. On the left, you've got a student exploring the story and the meaning behind their name, connecting it to their cultural identity. And on the right, another student is mapping out their unique outside and inside qualities. This is the model in action, giving kids the tools to really reflect on who they are and to see the value in their own story. It's amazing stuff. So this brings us to the ultimate goal. Why does this way of thinking and learning matter so much for students right now, in today's world? At the end of the day, the goal is to create a fundamental shift. It's about moving beyond just teaching comprehension for one book and moving towards fostering a transformational approach for all learning. The big idea is to help shape more thoughtful, more reflective, and more compassionate human beings who can navigate this complex world with a powerful understanding of their place in it. And that leaves us with this really essential question from the source material. In our classrooms, in our workplaces, even in our own lives, How do we encourage that vital shift from simply retelling what we know to truly rethinking it? That right there is the challenge and the huge opportunity that this model presents to all of us.